All right, protect yourself at all times. We are on it. Here we go. Ron Futrell with the latest Vegas Sportscast for the day after Independence Day. Okay? Welcome, everybody. July 5th. Hope you had a good Independence Day and all went well. Yeah, a little noisy, a little crazy here in Vegas, but a lot of fun still the same, certainly. So, we're still talking hockey, and it's the middle of summer, and still talking a lot of hockey right now. And the free agent race right now with the Vegas Golden Knights is what is probably the main thing. And we're talking about Erik Karlsson of the Ottawa Senators. And we're a week into free agency. It started July 1st. I think the Knights have done well. Certainly being able to pick up a couple of players that I'm pretty happy about that I think will work well for them. Holden is one of them, okay? That I think he's going to be a good player. Nick Holden of the Boston Bruins, pretty good defenseman. Played with the Bruins last year. He's 31 years old. He's going to be a guy who's going to play for the Knights this upcoming season. So get used to the name here. Had a good season with Colorado back in 2013, 2014. Had 10 goals, 15 assists. And then also, just throughout his career, was with the Rangers for a while. He scored 11 goals, 23 assists with the Rangers. So he's a good scoring defenseman, and people like the way he plays. And so he's a free agent signing that is coming to the Vegas Golden Knights. Of course, Paul Stastny, we've talked about that already as a center. He's one of the best, one of the top 20 centers in the NHL. It's probably in that category. I don't think that's a stretch to say that he would fit in that category, but he's going to be, my theory there is he's insurance against what's going to happen, what will happen, what might happen with Wild Bill, William Karlsson, because there's a couple of Karlssons we got to talk about. And Wild Bill Karlsson, William Karlsson played for the Knights, of course, had 43 goals last year, was the star of the team. Let's see, also won the trophy for best sportsmanship, the Lady Byng Trophy, a trophy named after a lady, Lady Byng Trophy. He won that trophy during the awards show here in Las Vegas and helped the Knights complete that clean sweep that they had of trophies. So, anyway, I think it's important for George McPhee to keep that front line together. That line that led the team and scored, the number one line that did so well. William Karlsson, Riley Smith, Jonathan Marchessault. So, to do that, obviously, you've got to sign the restricted free agent, who is William Karlsson right now. Now, where Paul Stastny fits into that is that he's insurance in case they don't sign William Karlsson, that Stastny would fit into that line. Now, if they do sign William Karlsson, I think a lot of fans would like to see that happen. If they do sign him, then Stastny, well, come on now, put him on the number 2 line and see where that goes, what happens, because you've lost a couple of great forwards during this free agency time, pretty good ones for the Knights last year, and James Neal and David Perron, both gone, signed as free agents. But Erik Karlsson, okay, let's go here now. I think we're going to find out before this week is out. We're talking Thursday right now, but I think there's a lot of teams that want to trade for Erik Karlsson and are trying to get him. The Rangers are after him, Capitals are after him, Lightning are after him, would all like to have this guy. He is the best scoring defenseman in the NHL. Pretty good defenseman by himself, okay, and 20 goals last year, okay? He's in fact, in his career, twice he scored 20 goals. So to score 20 goals from the blue line is phenomenal. And that's what he would bring to the team. And that's what but what are you going to give up to be able to get the Ottawa Senators superstar defenseman Erik Karlsson? What they are looking at is one of those top draft picks for the Knights from last year. A Cody Glass, maybe an Eric Branson. But I don't think they want to. The Knights, they got to give up something to be able to get him. Shea Theodore is somebody that the Ottawa Senators are after to try to get, and then a draft pick, probably a conditional draft pick. I'll explain that in a second. Probably a conditional draft pick for a later year. But that's at one time the Knights were trying to get him, Erik Karlsson, before the trade deadline this past season, and Alex Tuch was in the mix of what the Ottawa Senators wanted, and the Knights said, no, Tuch is off the table. We're not trading Alex Tuch. Come up with something else. So I haven't heard Tuch's name mentioned since then. Where the conditional pick fits in is that Erik Karlsson has one more year left on his contract. So the Knights sign him and give up, they trade for him and give up a lot of stuff, it's possible they may only have him one season and he's gone. Thus, the pick would be conditional if he does not sign a longer-term contract with the Knights. Then they would not have to give up that draft pick. Now, the best-case scenario would be to try to work out a deal with Karlsson, work out the trade, and then simultaneously work out the deal with Karlsson to be able to have him here long-term is what they would like to do. But there are a lot of teams in the mix right now that are going after Karlsson. And it'll be interesting to see. But there's some people. I've listened to a few hockey shows and read a few articles and come up with some stuff on this and heard what people are saying. But that the Knights right now would be the favorite to get Erik Karlsson. So that's what's happening there. Those are the only two things really that are significant left in free agency for the Vegas Golden Knights. One is and both involve a Karlsson. One is what's going to happen with Erik Karlsson if they're able to trade for him with the Ottawa Senators and pick him up. Number two, will they be able to sign William Karlsson as a restricted free agent to be able to play for the Knights? My guess, Karlsson, okay, I'm going to put myself in Bill Karlsson, wild Bill Karlsson's. If I'm his agent, I'm looking at $3 to $4 million a year, probably closer to the $4 million a year, and wanting to get a 4-year deal out of it, something like that. Okay, that's what I'm figuring he would be in the category for. And there's going to be some teams out there that are offering him some money. I might be low. If anything, I'm a little bit low on this. I believe he wants to stay here in Las Vegas. I know the fans would love to see him stay here in Vegas. So if those two things can happen, this would be a great offseason for the Vegas Golden Knights. This would be remarkable if they could do those two things, both involving the Karlsson. If they could keep William Karlsson and pick up Erik Karlsson without giving up too much, you could call this a great offseason for the Knights, because you would put in there Paul Stastny, Erik Karlsson, and Nick Holden would be three great additions to this team. And again, I know I'm getting ahead of myself here a little bit with this. I get that. But that would be now, and losing Perron and Neal, I figured they would lose at least one of them. I wasn't sure they would lose both of them, but they have. And in case you haven't heard, I've mentioned it before, but what it is David Perron goes back to the St. Louis Blues, James Neal going to the Calgary Flames, which is interesting because that move with him going to the Flames is a little bit interesting because it got higher taxes up there, okay, in Canada. And he could have probably stayed here in Vegas and made about close to the same amount of money without the taxes. But there may be something else, another factor in there that you're looking at. So anyway, let's see what's going on so far this season with the great event over there. Must be about 11 o'clock. Yeah, every once in a while you get to hear the alarm clock going off here in town. Let's go. 51s just finished a great homestand against Salt Lake, had the fireworks show out there on Tuesday night, and they are now on the road. And I don't know, go out to see a game at Cashman Field before. This is the final season at Cashman Field that they're going to be there, and they've been there 35 years at Cashman Field. They're moving up to a new stadium in Summerlin, beautiful new 10,000-seat stadium. It's going to be much. Anyway, you've heard me talk about this before. It's a tremendous improvement. It's going to help the team. They've wanted this for years. Very happy to see they're making that happen. So go out and check out a game for the final season out at Cashman Field that they will be there. It will be turned into a soccer facility from here and multi-use thing. But soccer, come on, with the lights, it's working there. So go ahead, do that. Have some fun there. WNBA, of course. Check them out. Ace is still in town, playing, doing some stuff here, and playing pretty well right now. They're 5-5 over the last 10 games, so they've had for them it's a pretty good run over the last 10 games. They're 6-12 overall, so they've had a nice little comeback. Asia Wilson, look for her. She is the top candidate right now for Rookie of the Year, so she's fun to watch. By the way, Asia, if you want to know where she got that name from, she's named after the Steely Dan album. Okay, Asia, released in 1977. So, you know the song. I won't sing it for you. I won't put you through that torture. But that's a little-known fact right there with Asia Wilson. So, they've got a game coming up against, next up, for the Vegas Golden. By the way, Asia Wilson was named Rookie of the Month for last month in the WNBA. And we're getting close to the midway point, the season right now for the Aces. But they started the season with a 1-7 record, so they were really struggling. They've been 5-5 over the last 10, so that's been nice for them. And they've got a game coming up against the Sky coming up, and that will be tomorrow here in Vegas. So we got a lot happening, a lot going on there, and sort of a kickback time here in Vegas over the summer. Getting ready for hockey season coming up, football season coming up for the Rebels, and basketball season. And then, of course, there's always the Raiders 2 years down the road. All right, that's the way I see it. I'm Ron Futrell. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.